Welcome to Go Beyond Betty. Today is our first big batch day. So big batch day is when you're making a lot of, I tend to do 1 to 3 different things. So today I'm going to show you how to make a huge batch of, this is the thing, I know how to pronounce it. I feel like an idiot when I pronounce it correctly, and I feel like an idiot when I don't pronounce it correctly. So here it's pronounced correctly, arrabbiata. It's an Italian sauce. It is a slightly spicy red sauce with lots of sausage in it, but I feel like an idiot when I say arrabbiata. Just like I wouldn't say marinara. I just say marinara. So it's these awful like American ways that we pronounce things. So I tend to say arrabbiata or it's arrabbiata, but you know what I mean. So today we're gonna make the sauce. You can easily do a couple different things, and in the next couple weeks I'll show you a few other big batch things that I incorporated probably while doing the sauce at the same time. So here we go. So today is big batch day, big batch Saturday for me. I'm gonna make arrabbiata sauce. Arrabbiata is kind of a spicier tomato sauce. It's a lot thinner than your normal marinara, and these are the only ingredients. There's sausage, which I'm gonna make my own, and Italian sausage is really just salt and fennel. If you want sweet Italian, it's salt, sugar, and fennel. It's really, really basic sausage. Tomatoes, I always want to use the best that I can find. I get these from an international market. Again, I'm tripling a recipe, so I want as much as possible. There's a little bit of red pepper flakes in the background. There's onions, garlic, and then some broth. So this is just broth that I made. It's actually still frozen. I forgot to thaw it, but it doesn't matter. It's just going to go in there anyways. Oh, and red wine. The basic rule of thumb for wine, it should be something that you're willing to drink, but not very expensive. So this is it for ingredients for this sauce. So with only a couple key ingredients, you have to make sure that they're all as good as you can possibly find. I've made this from like what I could find down at Smith's, so regular tomatoes, canned broth, store-bought sausage, and just regular wine, and it was not that good. I'll be honest with you. So try to get the best ingredients that you can find, and I promise you it'll make a huge difference. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up my onions. I'm going to get those sauteing in a big cast iron 8-10 quart pot with olive oil, and I'll let those cook down probably at least 10 minutes, and then I'm going to add my garlic. I don't want my garlic at the same time because I don't want these getting brown. I just want them kind of lightly steaming on top of the pretty much already cooked onions, and then I'll have this seasoned by then. For any kind of meat, my general rule of thumb is 1 teaspoon salt to 1 pound. This is about 5 pounds of meat. We like our sauce like super, super meaty. So I'm gonna do at least 5 heavy teaspoons of salt. I use a diamond kosher salt. It's very light. I would say it's 3/4 the strength of regular sea salt. So I definitely always am pretty heavy handed with it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna balance out once you have it all in the sauce. My stock is unsalted, so I'm going to end up salting everything a lot. And then fennel, again, this is 5 pounds. I might do 5 capfuls. There's no exact science to it. I'm just going to mix it all together and see if it looks good. If I really wanted to taste it, I could get a little meatball, put it in the microwave for 20 seconds. The texture's not going to be great, but you could at least taste the salt that way. Our onions are sauteing. They're almost done. They're getting pretty soft. I'm going to throw in my chopped garlic. I had maybe 4 or 5 cloves. Use less, use more, it really doesn't matter. And then I ended up finishing that whole bottle of fennel that I had. So about 4.5 capfuls is all that I had in there. And this is about 5 pounds of ground pork. And I did 5 very heavy teaspoons of salt. And this is, I went to Publix and they grind whatever you want. So I just got a whole pork butt, which is the pork shoulder. That's just what they call it, pork butt. Because an actual pork butt is a ham. So I just asked them to grind it. So it was roughly 5 pounds. I'm going to add in my garlic and my pork. Our sausage is almost cooked in there. I might give it 2 or 3 more minutes just to get rid of any of the little pink parts. And then we're going to add in a whole bottle of wine. So the sausage has been cooking with the bottle of wine for about 5 minutes. I want it to keep boiling because I want some of that wine to evaporate. I don't want it to taste like you're eating a glass of wine. It should evaporate, not have any kind of alcoholic taste, and it's really just more of that like savory undertone that's going to be left. All right, most of the wine has evaporated away. I mean, there's still plenty left, but a lot of that alcohol now has evaporated away. Leave the lid on, just kind of dangling by a thread so that it pours out and it'll kind of keep it from completely splattering. Or what I'm gonna have to do, you just dump it really, really fast. All right, the sauce is done. I've had it off for maybe 30 minutes. I've been checking for salt every 10 minutes or so just to make sure it's all blended together well. You can see it's not a crazy thick sauce. It is supposed to be on the thinner side, but it'll all get absorbed into your delicious pasta. And again, I know it's kind of expensive for one giant batch. This is an 8-quart stock pot, and it is to the brim. So I have done this before. I knew it would fit just barely. Now that the sauce is done, I've been just using a 1-cup measure just to put a few cups in here. And if you don't have one of these are super awesome and handy. You can change the settings and make it for a quart or a gallon and just raise the sides up. But even when you let go, it just stays there and holds it for you. They normally come in a 6-pack, but they're pretty cheap. That is my last tip for you. And then you want to definitely make sure they're cooled enough. I can tell now this is still a little bit too warm. I'm probably gonna wait to do the rest of them. But when you freeze them, make sure you're laying them flat and don't overfill them. And now looking at this, I think I have a little bit too full, so I'm probably gonna take a little bit out. So when you overfill them, it'll bust the bag and your freezer will be a mess. So that's it. Pretty easy. It's not a red sauce that takes all day long to make. And mine took a little bit longer because I told you I didn't thaw my broth. I forgot. I just kind of threw it in there like a big old ice cube. So it took maybe an extra 15 minutes for it to get hot enough and kind of cook down just a little bit. But it's a pretty fast sauce. So if you're gonna go through the trouble of making sauce from scratch, do it times 3, times 4, however big pot you have, do it. It'll save you so much time in the long run. Because who doesn't want more cooking, not cooking nights in their life? I know I do. So thank you for joining me at Go Beyond Betty, where you always take risks in the kitchen. Thanks for joining me. Bye. I think it helps to say these things with putting your fingers together. Say, marinara, arrabbiata, bolognese, bolognese, bolognese. Oh yeah.